Good morning, everyone. Today we will talk about the kingdom fungi. Before I have already discussed about kingdom Monera, Protista. Today, fungi is the third kingdom as per five kingdom system of classification. Fungi are the unique organisms present in our earth. They show a great diversity in the morphology. They are found in the different habitats, and you can't imagine, nearly 1 lakh species of the fungi, they are found in the nature. The fungi, they are very special. They perform heterotrophic mode of nutrition. They are non-chlorophyllous. I will tell you about the details of this kingdom fungi, but you can observe these fungi in your surrounding. You are most aware with the Rhizopus, that is bread mold. The bread mold which grows on the bread, it is a type of fungi. Sometimes you can see the fungi, they look just like the cotton-like structure. They grow on our foodstuffs sometimes. They can also grow in the dead and decaying matters. They can grow on the leathers. So the cotton-like structures generally they appear, the thread-like structures, and you can see them by your naked eye also. But the individual cell, the structure of the mycelium, the individual body of the mycelium, you can observe only with the help of microscope. When they are in the group, they are in the cluster, and so many thallus, or you can say the body, they are combined together. They can appear by our naked eye, but the whole structure, the detailed structure of the cell, you can observe under the microscope. Let us start about the characteristics of the fungi. The fungi, the kingdom fungi, it includes multicellular, eukaryotic and heterotrophic organism. The yeast is also a fungi, but it is unicellular. And now, as per five kingdom system of classification, the yeast has been placed into the kingdom Protista. But overall, the yeast is also a kind of fungi. But this kingdom fungi mainly includes the multicellular and eukaryote heterotrophic organism, because most of the fungi, they are multicellular. The nature of cell is eukaryote. The cell is well developed, and they perform what kind of the nutrition? Heterotrophic mode of nutrition. All the fungi, they perform only the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. They don't have the chlorophyll. They are non-chlorophyllous, means they don't have the chlorophyll. The second, the body, or you can say thallus, is called mycelium. I have used here a term that is thallus also for body. Before I am going to describe about the mycelium, let me to define first of all thallus, because in this chapter you can study further also thallus. So many places this term has been given. What is thallus? The thallus is the body in which there is no differentiation of the root, stem and leaf. when we talk about any plant, then definitely we go through the different body parts. We think about it that if we are talking about the plant, definitely it will be the root, stem and leaf. But the unicellular as well as some of the multicellular organisms are there, and they don't have the well-defined body parts. They don't have the root, they don't have the stem, they don't have the leaf. Still, they are having the body. And such type of bodies in which there is no differentiation of the body parts, this is called thallus. For example, suppose this is a type of bryophyte. This is a plant, belongs to the plantae kingdom, but you can't see here where is the root, where is the stem, where is the leaf. So the plant, or you can say the organism in which there is no differentiation of the stem, roots and leaf, such type of body structure is called thallus. In fungus also, you can't differentiate where is the root, where is the leaf, where is the stem, but you can use the term thallus. So here the body is called, the body or the thallus of the fungus, especially the thallus of the fungus is called mycelium. The mycelium term we use only in the case of fungus, not in any other living organisms. The mycelium, which is the body of the fungus, is also made up of the so many cells, and these cells are called hyphae. Suppose this is the hyphae. Hyphae is the long tubular structure. Suppose this is the hyphae, the cell of the fungus, and so many hyphae like this, they are combined together and it forms mycelium. There is a difference in between hyphae and mycelium. The mycelium is the whole body, and the unit of the mycelium, you can say, that is hyphae. So hyphae is the cell, the unit of mycelium. The mycelium may be aseptate, or you can say septate. The mycelium is of two types, aseptate and septate. Aseptate is further divided into the branched and unbranched. The same septate is also branched and unbranched. What is aseptate mycelium? What is aseptate body of the fungus? Suppose this is the fungus, and there is no partition of this mycelium. Means the cell wall is absent. The partition in between the mycelium is absent. Let me to draw this diagram. Aseptate, there is no branching, unbranched and multinucleate mycelium. Here I am going to draw this diagram. This is also aseptate, branched, multinucleate mycelium. Aseptate means there is no partition in this body, in this mycelium. So the mycelium is what? Aseptate, without septa. Unbranched, there is no branching of this mycelium, so it is unbranched. And when there is no partition in between, like this is septate condition. If the septa is not, or the septum is absent, then all nucleus, they are present inside the cell cytoplasm, and the whole mycelium, it becomes multinucleate, and this multinucleate condition is also known as cenocytic condition. This is very important term, cenocytic. The multinucleate condition of the cell is also known as cenocytic condition. What is multinucleate? Means in the same body, in the same cell, if so many nucleus, they are present, this condition of the body is called multinucleate. And this multinucleate condition is called cenocytic condition. Here also, because of this absence of the septum, the whole mycelium, it becomes multinucleate, or you can say the condition of this mycelium is also cenocytic. Let us take the see the diagram of the septate mycelium. The septate is also unbranched and branched. Because of the formation of septa, is there any difference in these two diagrams and here? Here I have drawn here the septa, the partition. So you can write septate mycelium, septate, unbranched, and because of the septa formation, the whole body is converted into so many small cells, and these individual cells containing a single nucleus also generally. So uninucleate, you can write the mycelium is uninucleate. Septate because of the formation of this septa, or you can say septum. Septum is individual, and the plural form of the septum is septa. So many septum are present. So because of the formation of the septum, the mycelium will be septate. There is no branching in this mycelium. That's why I have written here unbranched. And in each cell, because of the formation of the septum, this is said to be a single cell. Each cell has a single nucleus, so the mycelium will be the uninucleate. Here you can write septate. There is the branch also, branched and uninucleate. So the mycelium, or you can say the body of the fungus, may be aseptate or may be septate. It may be branched aseptate or may be unbranched. If in some of the fungi the septa may be present and they may be unbranched or branched, means it depends upon the types of the fungi. You will discuss later on about that in which group of the fungi, in which kind of the fungi the mycelium is yes septate, in which case it is septate. But the mycelium range started from aseptate to the septate. The cell wall is made up of chitin. The fungal cell wall, this is the cell wall. If these are the nucleus, this will be the cell wall. These all are the cytoplasm. These all are the nucleus. So cell wall is made up of chitin. It is a very hard material. In the case of Monera, I told you that their cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, but the fungal cell wall is made up of a very hard material, and that is called chitin. Now, other structures of the cell will be as like the eukaryotic cell. Here also all the cytoplasmic organelles, they are present. The nucleus is also well developed like the eukaryotic cell, but the chloroplast or chlorophyll molecules, they are absent in the case of fungi as they perform heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So the nutrition is heterotrophic. As you know, in the case of heterotrophic mode of nutrition, the organisms, here the fungus, do not prepare their own food and they obtain ready-made food from outside. Some of the fungus, they are parasites. The parasitic fungus, they obtain their food from other living organisms. Some of the fungi, they attack the plant's body, they attack on the human body, and they derive their food from there. In human being, just you can give the examples, like in the human being, so many skin disorders, skin diseases, itching generally it takes place. The ringworm, it is caused by a fungus like Trichophyton. Some other fungus are also responsible for the skin problems. Epidermatophyton flocosum, Trichophyton, as I told you. These are the fungus responsible for the ringworm disease in the human beings. Means these fungus are parasitic fungus. They attack our body. They derive their food from us and they are going to be benefited. So in parasitic mode of nutrition, the fungus, they derive their food from other living organisms, either from the plants or from the animals. In the plants also, you can see so many fungus, they attack the plants. The plants, they are going to suffer from so many diseases like Blight's disease, rust disease, smut disease. So many diseases are there. Rust of wheat, it is caused by a fungus that is called Puccinia graminis, in which the productivity of the wheat is decreased. In some plants, the smut, in the case of barley, there is a disease that is smut disease of the barley. It is caused by a fungus that is Astilago. In potato also, late blight of potato by Phytophthora infestans, early blight of potato, Alternaria solanae. You can't imagine. The fungus is the major pathogen. They cause so many diseases in plants. So whether it is plants or animals, if they are getting the food from the plants and animals, all these fungi, they belong to the parasites. What are saprophytes? The saprophyte are the saprophytic fungus. They obtain their food from dead and decaying matters, from the dead remains of the plants, animals, either from bread, like bread mold. The scientific name of the bread mold is Rhizopus. From where Rhizopus takes their food? From the bread. And that's why it is named bread mold. Some other fungus, they also grow on the dead and decaying matters, like Penicillium. It is also a saprophytic fungus. From the Penicillium, the first antibiotic was isolated. penicillin. So the fungus, they may be parasite or may be saprophytes. Some of the fungus, they are symbiotically associated with other living organisms. They live either in the form of lichens or in the form of mycorrhiza. Here about the lichens, what do you mean by lichens? You can see the lichens in our school campus also. The lichens are the symbiotic association of algae and fungi. Here some of the fungus, a particular group of the fungus, they are associated with the algae. Algae prepares the food for fungus, and in return the fungus gives shelter to the algae. So fungus and algae, both they are symbiotically associated with each other, and both they are going to be benefited to each other, neither harmed. One more special type of group, that is mycorrhiza. Myco term is taken from the fungus, and rhiza means the roots. Some of the fungus, they are associated with the roots of the higher plant. They obtain their food from the roots of the tree, of the plants, and in return they supply water and minerals to the plant. They are mycorrhiza. So either the fungus, they can also live in the symbiotic relationship. So these are the different types of the nutrition. They may be the parasites or maybe saprophytes, or they can perform symbiotic relationship. Fungus, what kinds of the reproduction they do? The fungus reproduces by all the methods, that these are vegetative, asexual and sexual. The vegetative reproduction takes place by the process of fragmentation. As you know, in the case of fragmentation, the body is broken down into the different segments, into the different fragments, and each fragment can produce the new organism, just like the algae, like Erythrix and Spirogyra. So fungus, they also perform the process of fragmentation. They can also reproduce by binary fission, either by budding. All these points and the headings already you have been studied in class 10th. Then they can also reproduce asexually, either by zoospores formation or by conidia formation. You can see with through the diagram, like the braid mold. This is the structure of the braid mold. The braid mold, as you know, grow on the braid. This is the body of the braid mold. This is called mycelium. The mycelium, at the time of reproduction, it forms a spherical structure. This is called sporangium. This is called sporangiophore, and inside this sporangium they produce so many spores. These are the spores, and when the sporangium it ruptures, the spores comes outside, and each spore can produce a new body, a new mycelium. So these are the sporangiospores. In some of the cases, I have not written here, these are the simply spores, or you can say sporangiospores. The zoospores are the motile spore. In some of the fungus, such type of spores are produced, and these spores are motile, and that's why these spores are called zoospores. In the case of Penicillium, a special type of spore is produced, and this is called Conidia. Actually, Conidia appears like this. The mycelium, it becomes erect, and this erect mycelium is called conidiophore. The tip of conidiophore breaks, and this individual structure is called conidia. These are the conidia. The individual is conidium, and when the conidia or conidium it comes outside, again it can produce the new mycelium. So conidia is an exogenous spore. The conidia is not produced inside the cell. It is produced on the tip of the conidiophore, and when the conidia are separated, each conidium can produce the new body. All these headings we will discuss later on when I will teach you the different classes of the or different groups of the fungi. The fungus also reproduce by sexual methods, and these sexual methods are gametangial contact, gametangial copulation, and spermiation. What is gametangial contact? In some of the fungus, they produce the different sex organs. The male sex organ is called entheridium. The female sex organ is called oogonium. And these two sex organs, they fuse together and they finally form zygote. And this is called gametangial contact. In copulation also, the two different strands of the mycelium, they come close together. They share their genetic material. The protoplasmic or the gametes fuse together by the process of gametangial copulation. In the third, spermiation. In spermiation, the spores, the sexual spores are produced in some of the class of the fungi like Basidiomycetes, and the spores, they are going to disperse from one mycelium to the another, and they help in the process of sexual reproduction. So don't worry, all these headings, that is zoospore, conidium, gametangial contact, copulation, spermiation, you will study later on in this kingdom only when I will teach you the different classes of the fungi. But here in today's lecture, just you have to learn about the common, at least 5 to 6 common features of this kingdom, that is fungi. So all these points today we discussed. I request you all to learn these common characteristics of the fungi, and tomorrow I will start the different groups of the fungi, different divisions of the fungi. So please note down some questions from the today's topic. The first one, write the general characteristics of kingdom fungi. Write the general characteristics of kingdom fungi. Second, name the mode of nutrition. Name the mode of nutrition takes place in fungi. Name the mode of nutrition takes place in fungi. Question number 3. Differentiate between aseptate and septate mycelium. Differentiate between aseptate and septate mycelium. Next, describe asexual methods of reproduction in fungi. Describe asexual methods in fungi. And the last question is, Write the different habitats. Write the different habitats of fungi. Write the different habitats of fungi. So thanks to all of you, and tomorrow I will teach you the next topic. Thanks.